What's going on, nation? Today I'm finally going to show you how to accelerate your shoulder gains by not 65, not 66, but a massive 67%, but not 68%. That's just crazy.
You heard of this thing, the 8-minute abs? Well, this is gonna blow that right out of the water. Listen to this. 7-minute abs.
But in all seriousness, guys, the title is clickbait just to get your attention. But as always, the information here is top-notch. And if you've missed any of the other previous videos in this series, just click the playlist link above to check them out. So, the master tip I want to share with you guys to help accelerate your overall shoulder growth is this. If no matter what you do, you never actually feel your delts working while training them, or you never get soreness in your delts after training them, that typically means your mind-muscle connection is very poor. More than that, it means you're probably letting other muscle groups take over during each exercise when training your delts, and this definitely is the reason why your shoulders are still underdeveloped. So what's the solution here? Well, it's actually quite obvious if you think about it. You need to learn how to engage your front, middle, and rear deltoids when training. Generally speaking, you don't really need to isolate your deltoids. Even with my own clients, heavy pressing exercises such as the overhead press, incline press, dips, and close grip bench press are enough to properly activate all three deltoid heads and see growth. In fact, I bet if you just train with more sets of heavy compound movements like these versus isolation type movements, you would see much faster growth overall in your entire body. But there are some cases where some people just have such a poor mind-muscle connection to the deltoids that they tend to perform these movements only properly activating their triceps, chest, back, traps, and virtually every other muscle but the three deltoid heads. So if this sounds like you, this is why you're not growing, and here is what you need to do. First, take a deep breath, kick your ego to the curb, and let's start training with some lighter weights so that you can finally learn what it truly feels like to properly activate your deltoids when training. Now, let's be clear. I'm not saying that light weights are better for overall growth. Progressive overload combined with volume will always be king. But utilizing lighter weights for the time being will help establish a much stronger mind-muscle connection to the deltoids, so that when you go back to your heavy compound exercises like the overhead press, your deltoids will be firing properly on every repetition. You might even start to notice a sudden increase in how much weight you can lift as well. So grab a pair of 5 or 10 pound dumbbells and let's focus on some front, lateral, and bent over raises. First up will be lateral raises targeting the middle deltoids. Now, it doesn't matter if you're performing straight arm or bent arm raises. The mistake is always the same. Most people only focus on lifting their arm up versus lifting their arm up and away from their body. This slight change in form will be the difference between engaging more traps or more middle deltoid during the movement. So what you want to do is simply keep your shoulder down and almost raise the dumbbell away from your body like you're trying to keep your wrist away from your head. Guys, your traps want to help, so you have to really pay attention and focus on turning them off as much as possible on every repetition. Now, the same thing also applies to the front raise. If you keep your shoulder blades retracted throughout the entire movement, other muscle groups will have a tendency to help out, namely your traps and chest. Traps for the same reasons as we just mentioned, but why the chest? Well, because now you've turned the front raise into sort of a low to high chest fly. Remember, in my how-to barbell bench press video, 3 Golden Rules, I explained how you always activate the muscle group that's in front the most. While with the bench press, we wanted the shoulders to be back and the chest to be in front because this is going to allow us to maximize chest engagement throughout the movement. But this time, we want the exact opposite. We need the chest to be disengaged and the shoulders protracted so that we can actually activate them properly. So again, what you want to do is raise the dumbbell while reaching forward without rounding your back. So protract your shoulders. almost as if you're trying to touch the wall in front of you, or in my case, it would be the camera. A great way to check if you're performing it the right way is to actually do one arm at a time and use your free hand to touch the upper portion of your chest while doing the exercise. If you feel your upper chest working, then you're doing it wrong. And finally, guys, the rear raise, and again, the same principles apply. Now for this, you don't necessarily have to be all the way bent over and parallel to the floor. Just bend over as much as possible, and for the purposes of this exercise, if you have it available, I actually want you to use a bench to rest your head on. This way you can better focus on the rear deltoid on every single repetition. Once more, what you don't want to do is actually retract your shoulder blades and then raise your arm. If you do that, you'll be targeting your traps and rhomboids far more than your rear deltoids. So, to keep the focus on your rear delts, do not retract your scapula, and again, move the dumbbell by extending your arm away from your body. So now that I've given you all this information, how do you apply these drills to your training? Well, before we get started with that, be sure to tap that like button if you're enjoying the video, and let's see if we can break 4,000 likes with this video. The last one in the series has 3,977, so we were close, but I know we can do it. And while you're at it, go back to that video and give it 23 more likes too. Alright guys, so here's what you need to do. Start your shoulder routine with a heavy compound movement, preferably the standing barbell overhead press. Perform 6 sets of 6 reps, and then perform the activation drills we just went over. This will allow us to take advantage of your upper body being pre-exhausted, forcing you to focus much harder on each deltoid head during those exercises. And you're going to perform 3 sets of 10 reps for each exercise, so front, middle, and rear, and this will become your next shoulder workout for the next few weeks. The more you do these drills, the more you'll start feeling your deltoids activate on bigger compound lifts, and this will lead to bigger and stronger shoulders over time. So quick recap, your next shoulder workout. Exercise 1, standing barbell overhead press, 6 sets, 6 reps. And if you guys have to do them seated with dumbbells, that's okay too, but I prefer the standing barbell. And then you're only gonna rest about 60 to 90 seconds in between those sets. Exercise 2 is going to be a side dumbbell raise, 3 sets, 10 reps. Exercise 3, front dumbbell raise, 3 sets, 10 reps. And then for exercise 4, you're going to do a rear dumbbell raise, 3 sets, 10 reps. And there's no rest periods for the raises because you're actually going to be alternating your arms. So while one arm is working, the other arm is resting. I really enjoy sharing these quick tips with you guys, and if you want to make sure you don't miss the next video in this series, make sure your notification settings are set to all and not occasional in your subscription manager. I'll drop the link below so you can check in my pinned comment. Also, my free program, Guaranteed Gains, is pretty much ready, and I will be sending out an early release this week to my email list, so most likely Thursday or Friday. So if you would like to check it out, go to muscularstrength.com, and when the email box pops up, stick it in there. Just be gentle. As always, more good stuff coming soon. Hey guys, if you want to see all my 67% faster gains videos, just click the playlist link over here. And also, a new episode of Insta Garbage is coming on Thursday. So I'll pop episode 1 over here as well. Enjoy and keep making those natty gains.